Hey guys, and welcome back to Baseline Full Court Press, the podcast where women's basketball gets the spotlight, the smoke, and the respect. I'm your host, Patience, and today we'll be getting into what is going on this March Madness. And if you're just tuning into March Madness and the Sweet 16 makes no sense, here's why. There have been a ton of upsets, and these upsets aren't as random as they seem. Let's start off with a team who has the most upsets this tournament, and that's going to be UVA, the University of Virginia. UVA was in the first four play, so they weren't completely even in the tournament to begin with, but yet they have the most upsets. Hmm. So their first game in the first four was against Arizona State. They won that 57-55. Both teams were ranked number 10, so it was a really good game, well fought. Arizona State averages about 66 points a game, and they kept them to 55. So that was very, very good on their part. Now let's go ahead and get into the real upsets. UVA also upset Georgia in overtime, and the score was 82 to 73. Now, like I said, this is not random. I did watch all of these games, and UVA has a certain tenacity to them. So for the Georgia game, Georgia normally averages about 74 points a game. They held them to 73. So did that have something to do with it? Maybe. Now, UVA won against Georgia because they strictly stepped up their three pointers. They shot about 48% from the 3 point line. They out rebounded them on both ends of the court, offensively and defensively. And most importantly, what I think was the decision factor in this game was the free throw percentage. Virginia shot at 80%, while Georgia shot at just 63%. We are still on Virginia, guys. Virginia also upset Iowa 83 to 75 in double overtime. And it's crazy because Iowa dominated in almost all categories. They out rebound Virginia. They also outshot them in the paint by well over 20 points, out assisted them. But the category where Virginia stepped up was the 3 point line, shooting 33% from the 3 point and 78% from the free throw line. Free throws are Virginia's best friend. Also, to keep with the points averaged, Iowa normally averages 76 points per game, and Virginia stopped them at just 75. So it's looking like if Virginia can keep the teams under their points per game, it's looking like they may be a real contender for the championship. The next upset is USC over Clemson. USC is a ninth seed and Clemson is an eighth seed. Now, this game also went into overtime, ending in 71 to 67. This was a really close game. USC definitely controlled the paint, and they also really capitalized off of those turnovers. Clemson did outscore USC in every category in threes, rebounds, assists, free throws, steals. But when capitalizing on those turnovers, USC came out on top. And next we have Syracuse, who upset Iowa State. Now, Syracuse is a ninth seed and Iowa State is a eighth seed, I think. Yes. And Iowa State is an eighth seed. The score was 72 to 63. Syracuse shot 36% from the 3 point line, while Iowa State only shot about 13% from the 3 point line. While Iowa State did dominate in the paint by a large margin, it was not enough to combat the threes. Syracuse quite literally only had 10 points in the paint the entire game. Right. And they also shot 70% from the free throw line. And number 6 seed Notre Dame upset number 3 seed Ohio State 83 to 73. Once again, this was a very, very close game. This was not a typical deciding factor on the game. Both teams definitely played their hearts out on that court, but mainly what helped them was their offensive rebounds. And the last upset of this March Madness tournament, well, not the last, but the last of these rounds is going to be University of Kentucky, which is a fifth seed, versus WVU, which is a fourth seed. They lost 74 to 73. Now, Kentucky out-rebounded West Virginia offensively and defensively very well. 39 rebounds for Kentucky to West Virginia's 23. Kentucky also outscored them in the paint. And the common thing that I'm noticing between all of these upsets is that it's the small things. It's the free throws and it's the turnovers and capitalizing off of those turnovers, as well as knocking down the shots the first time. In March Madness, you don't get too many second chances. And because of those upsets, this Sweet 16 is what we ended up with. We have Notre Dame, which is a 6th seed, and they have to play Vanderbilt, which is a 2nd seed. Who do I think will win? We're not talking about that right now because my bracket has been busted since about day 2. So, yeah. Thanks, UVA. Okay, now I am probably their biggest fan. So, and we also have number 4 seed UNC, University of North Carolina, who will have to go up against number 1 seed UConn. And next we have number 4 seed, which is Minnesota, which will have to go up against number 1 seed, which is UCLA. Then we have Duke, which is the number 3 seed, who has to go up against the number 2 seed, which is LSU. We also have Louisville, Michigan, Kentucky versus Texas. That's a 5 seed versus a 1 seed. We also have Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Virginia is going against TCU this Sweet 16. Virginia is a 10th seed and TCU is a 3rd seed. For this Sweet 16, who is dominating so far? I'm going to say UConn and South Carolina because they are undeniably winning these games by a landslide. And there's no way around it. Coaches are even crying out for help. No, seriously. Both teams are very disciplined and they have a very good efficiency, so there's not a lot of margin for error. Now, let's talk underdog of this Sweet 16. My underdog is going to be UVA. They've already upset 2 teams this tournament, and that's Georgia and Iowa. Both games in overtime. And they're also a very aggressive team, and they want to get into the inside every time they can. The thing about UVA is they can get in the paint, but they don't have to get in the paint because behind the 3-point line, they have some shooters. And they've also consistently kept their competition under their points per game. So if they can go ahead and continue to do that and execute offensively as well as defensively, I think they may have a shot at the championship. And my high seed that I think is in trouble is going to be TCU. Only because I've seen TCU under pressure. I've seen Olivia Miles under pressure, and it's just, she doesn't really react good to pressure. Being someone who is a lead scorer for their team, you have to make sure that your attitude is in check first and that you have the positive energy so your team can go ahead and get that from you. So I do think that they are at a number 3 seed and they are looking a little shaky. This tournament hasn't been random at all. It's about discipline and who can control the game, especially in smaller moments. And that right there, guys, is going to be the deciding factor for the Final Four. The Sweet 16 starts this Friday, which when I drop this video, it'll be today, in a couple of hours. So comment down below and let me know who you want to win the championship and what you think about these upsets that's been going on this tournament. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It means a lot to me. Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, add all the fun things, share. I really do appreciate any interaction that I do get with my content. So thank you guys who do interact. And see you next week when we'll be discussing the tournament champion.